You almost have to admire the honesty here to a degree. Congressman Raul Ruiz asks Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Trump's Secretary of Health and Human Services, a very simple question. Remember that report that was riddled with inaccuracies? It was riddled with citations to studies that don't exist. And Caroline Leavitt said, oh, these are merely like typos. These are formatting errors. Congressman Raul Ruiz asked RFK a very simple question. Did you read the report and fact check its sources before you published it? And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says, I did not fact check. I did not fact check it. All right, well, at least he's being honest. Let's take a look at the video, then I want to talk about this.
Kennedy, you're listed as the chair of the commission. Did you read the report and fact check its sources prior to publication?
All of the factual
Did you read the reports and did you yourself fact check them, sir?
I did not fact check.
You did not fact check. So why then, as has
all
been
of the
widely reported, excuse me, sir, I'm
that,
speaking. Why then did the report include a citation to sources that don't even exist? How does that happen under your leadership, sir?
All of the foundational assertions in that report are accurate.
They did not exist. How can they be accurate if they did not exist, sir?
Some of the citations
You know, in fact, my understanding is that even once the report was updated, more authors and researchers came forward stating that their research was misconstrued. This is quite unbelievable, sir. In fact, I was a pre-med at UCLA. They have a great pre-med program. If somebody turned this in as an undergrad to their professor at UCLA, they would have received an F, sir, an F for the misinterpretation, the falsehoods, the denials, and also citing references that don't even exist. That's lying and dishonest, sir. My concern here is that you and this administration are undertaking vast changes to our federal public health system and using purported facts and gold standard evidence that you claim to have as justifications for your decisions, actions, and frankly, your decimation of our nation's public health infrastructure. Yet, what you are relying upon isn't real. It isn't data-driven. And it isn't based in fact, science, or reality. Sir, it's wrong. As the secretary of one of the most consequential departments within our federal government, mischaracterizing data is not just some typos in a report that gets put on a shelf. Instead, your words and your words of your department carry significant weight. Do you agree?
The citations in that report were wrong. That was a mistake. They were corrected within 24 hours.
Yeah, but they were wrong still even after that, and they're wrong still today.
There were no
So do you believe that your words carry significant weight?
There were no erroneous
Do you believe your words carry significant weight?
There were no erroneous factual
Do
assertions.
you believe that the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services plays an important role in upholding scientific integrity?
Yes.
Okay, so then, in fact, what is most striking about this is that you've also threatened to bar governmental scientists and researchers from publishing in top medical journals. You've barred them from publishing in top reputable medical journals and instead proposed, quote, creating our own journals in-house.
All right, so it's not, I had a team review it, it's, I didn't fact check. This wasn't a typo. This was an official report that was published claiming, among other things, that there are all sorts of different conspiracies going on, that we need to be worried about all sorts of different things, citing reports, some of which didn't even exist. And Congressman Ruiz pressed him on that issue. How does it happen? And what RFK sort of leaned on was that the foundational assertions in the report are accurate. Now, it's really important to understand that that is not a standard that would fly anywhere that there is a robust and rigorous standard for when we make claims. You know, you could look at academia, but maybe you think academia has been corrupted. So you could look at book publishing, or you could look at medical studies, or you could look at, if you put together a report to citations that are imaginary, you're not allowed to just go, the conclusions, the underlying assertions, they're still accurate. even if the citations we included don't exist. You would not be able to get away with that anywhere. I would argue that on anything that RFK Jr. is involved in as Secretary of Health and Human Services, at least the same rigorous and robust standards should exist, because we're dealing with people's lives here. We're dealing with health and we're dealing with life and death. So this is what happens when the conspiracy brain fully melts, when the only criteria for truth is, I like the feel of it, I like the vibe. And when accuracy becomes detached from whether something actually happened or whether the source even exists, then we are in a fundamental battle over what even counts as truth, and we know that we are. I've written this, I wrote about this in my book. I have an entire chapter called What Are Facts? Not what are the facts, but what are facts? What sorts of statements even are statements of fact to MAGA world? And it is extraordinarily disturbing to see that this is where we have landed. And this is the person who was supposedly going to come and make America healthy again as part of Trump's MAHA thing. And so far what we're getting is stuff like, maybe kids don't need as many vaccines. We're going to get rid of food dyes, maybe, even though we don't actually have anything legally binding other than just the equivalent of saying, could you please get rid of the food dyes? And we have reports with citations to studies that don't exist now being brushed under the rug as the foundational assertions are still things that we stand by. If this is the direction things are going, and it is, we're in real trouble. Very nice job there by Congressman Ruiz at trying to expose that the emperor has no clothes here with regard to what the Department of Health and Human Services is doing under the stewardship or lack thereof of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. We have a phenomenal bonus show for you today. You can get instant access to the bonus show by becoming a member at joinpacman.com. You can use the coupon code ItWillEndSoon to save significantly off of the cost of a membership. And remember that if the clampdown comes, and from what I'm being told here in DC, it very well may, if the clampdown comes for independent media, the only way I'll be able to get a hold of you and tell you what's going on is on our Substack newsletter. Why is that? If YouTube shuts us down, we have no way to contact our YouTube subscribers. If Instagram, same thing. TikTok, same thing. We own the data on our Substack newsletter. So that is the place where I will still be able to get a hold of you. Sign up at davidpacman.substack.com or send me an email, info@davidpacman.com. Say, David, get me on that newsletter, and I gladly will. I'll see you on the bonus show, and then we've got a new show coming up tomorrow.